James says we should count it all joy when we go through trials, because we know that God will use it ultimately for our growth in Him. God is infinitely wise. Wisdom is the ability to use knowledge well. We all know people who have a lot of knowledge in their heads, but knowledge by itself is not enough. We must be able to use that knowledge wisely. Because God is light, He sees and knows everything perfectly. He knows exactly how to solve every problem and explore every opportunity. Not only does He have perfect knowledge, but He has perfect wisdom to apply that knowledge in the best ways possible. Jeremiah says this about God: "It is He who made the earth by His power, who established the world by His wisdom, and by His understanding stretched out the heavens." In the beginning, God made the entire universe in His great wisdom, and ever since then, He has overseen it all in His wisdom. Because He's wise, God always chooses the best goals and the best means by which to accomplish those goals. There may be times when we question the wisdom of God in allowing certain things to happen in our lives. But whether or not we understand the wisdom of everything He does and allows to happen does not change the fact of its perfect wisdom. Because God is wise, He never makes mistakes. We can trust Him, knowing that whatever He allows in our lives will in the end be for our good and for His glory, as Paul says in Romans 8. We know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to His purpose. This promise gives us great peace and security, whatever storm of life we face. God's purposes are always perfect because He is perfect and wise. God's wisdom is infinite. In Romans 11, Paul says, "Oh, the depths of the riches and wisdom and knowledge of God! How unsearchable are His judgments and how inscrutable His ways." Paul says that God's judgments are unsearchable and His ways are inscrutable. This means there are times when we will not understand what He's doing, but God expects us to trust Him anyway. In those times, He invites us to ask Him to help us understand it. And in His great love, He gives us His wisdom when we ask. James says, "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given him." The context of this verse is James teaching about trials of various kinds. He says, "Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. And let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given him." James says we should count it all joy when we go through trials, because we know that God will use it ultimately for our growth in Him. Because this can be hard for us to understand, James encourages us to ask God for wisdom about it. What an incredible gift this is. If we ask Him, God will share His wisdom with us, and He promises to do so very generously.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more teaching videos like this. For more information about LeaderSource, please visit our website, www.leadersource.org.